So Lil Kim has just pulled back the curtain on how Diddy manipulated Biggie into abusing her, and it is downright horrifying. At 17, Lil Kim's living circumstances led to her discovery by Biggie Smalls via capital XTRA, and the famed rapper, better known as the Notorious B.I.G., became her confidant and lover. The connection, while beneficial to the young artist in many ways, wasn't the best. In 2017, famed music producer Jermaine Dupri said during an interview with Drink Champs that Smalls drew a gun on Kim during a recording session for Usher's song Just Like Me, which featured the female rapper. When questioned if the incident happened to compel and upset Kim to record her verse, Dupri replied, "To let her know he'd kill her." Kim has acknowledged that her relationship with the late iconic rapper was violent, even describing one incident to The Diamond K Show, in which Smalls choked her until she passed out. The two would be the king and queen of East Coast hip-hop if they released their respective debut albums on the same day, which Kim referred to as a double date. With the junior MAFIA as their Knights of the Realm, the couple were viewed as heroes in their home state of New York and foes in Los Angeles as the mythical conflict between the two halves of America began. However, things were not going well behind the scenes. Kim claimed she felt compelled to end the couple's pregnancy, telling The Source magazine in 1999, "I already knew the kind of relationship that Biggie and I had, and I knew that having a child was something that couldn't take place." However, things turned out to be darker than expected. In a recent interview, Kim admitted, "We did have a very violent relationship. I hate that. For a while, that was all I attracted. Violent men. It is what it is. He was everything. You know how it is when you're in the industry, the guys can do whatever they want, but you can't do nothing." This is eerily similar to what Diddy's relationship with Kim Porter was like.
Puffy, he came out with a new album, man, called Love, and he got a song on there called Kim Porter. How you feel about that?
I think that's probably a great thing to do. You know what I'm saying? To honor the person that you said you love, to honor the woman who gave you a scar on your wrist for the rest of your life that you could always look at and remember. You know what I'm saying? So if he put that song out there to her, I guess he wanted to honor her. But he gonna always remember her. Kim was who Kim was. And then if he ever try to forget her, all he had to do is look at his wrist.
What you mean by that when you say that, Kim Porter gave Puffy a scar?
When they were at home at Kim's house on 110th Street, he wanted to, put his hands on her in the wrong way. And Kim took one of those corkscrews and ripped his wrist up and hit an artery. And when she did that, he had to rush over to St. Luke's Hospital. I met him over there to the hospital. It was me, him, and Kim in the hospital when he was bleeding like crazy. And that was the beginning of him. And that's the first thing I knew about people getting hooked on opioids. You know what I'm saying? And he could do whatever he wanted to.
The harsh truth Kim Porter lived was nothing short of horrifying.
Kim Porter, we all know about the time that she cut Diddy with a corkscrew. Do you recall any other time that her and Diddy got into it?
Well, I could hear it in the suite, in the hotel suite. And then sometimes when Kim lived on 70th something street, and I would go upstairs with Diddy, you could hear the shit in the hallway. And I would just shake my head when he come out or whatever, and Kim would be in the house. And it's always about where she was at or who she was dealing with. You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna see you physically put your hands on nobody. I don't give a shit who you are, or I'm not gonna see you physically put your hands on her. You understand? That's not gonna be me. First of all, I can't. The position I was in, you understand? Investigator for child abuse, worked for Elite Investigations, New York State parole officer. I'm mandated to do something. You understand? I'm mandated to do something. If she says, yo, his bodyguard was right there, but I'm still moonlighting. I'm moonlighting as his bodyguard. I'm working as his bodyguard, but I still have that other function as a state officer. I'm mandated to do something.
Man, so you could hear Diddy putting hands on Kim Porter.
See, he always do, like I told you, he be doing that. He'll start off, he'll have something on his mind, and he'll like that play fight with them. You understand? And he'll be hurting them when they, to the point where they'll be like, yo, stop. You know what I'm saying? But you know, they got the room is locked. You don't hear none of that. And then, you know, Kim would walk out in her white robe, and you could see it in her face. But what are you gonna do?
These claims have seemingly been corroborated by ex-Bad Boy rapper Mark Curry.
Because I interviewed Gene Deal, and he wasn't around Bad Boy when Cassie was around, but he told me that, you know, he did the same thing to Kim Porter.
Or you could take it before then, and then you can remember when Misa was dating, Eric Sermon from EPMD? And that was her childhood boyfriend, like coming up. They was the, you know, lovey-dovey couple. And it was back then. He used to, you know, do that with Misa. So, you know, one thing I always say is, as a man and as anyone in a relationship, we often go through these kind of things. So I've seen it in friends. I've seen it in him. I've seen fights. I've seen all kinds. I've seen fights between, where he have an argument, fight with a female, whatever it may be. I've seen it with my own friends. But sometimes you say, you know, we all go through things, but once you have a sign of doing it over and over and over again, that's when it becomes a problem. You be like, so every relationship that you get in, you're violent in them? So you say, you know, I don't have to wait to see what he would, you know, I was around when Cassie was there. I knew Kim Porter before I knew Puff. I met Misa, but you know, it was a history. When you have a history of the same thing, man, it becomes a problem. Something you do once or twice, you get over. First, you're not supposed to put your hands on a woman's way I was raised. And the only person that really put their hands on women really is men who have feminine traits. So, you know, it really takes a coward to put his hands on a woman. So, you know, a man is so strong enough, we can just walk away. You can do, it's so many different things that you can do other than get upset, put your hands on a woman. But that comes from a man who's not quite a grown man. It's still a boy, like a bad boy.
Is it true that Diddy broke her nose?
Bust her nose, man. You know, but it was all, you know, insecurities. Anytime a man would go out his way to wiretap someone's phone or put taps in their homes just to monitor their conversation, that's a sign of insanity. So when you see someone doing that, you can imagine everything else they do. What do you think he's going to do if he found her on the phone talking to someone and or feels that she's cheating on him or somebody sleeping with his girl? What you think he's going to say? Ooh, I caught you. Ooh, I heard this. Nah, he's going to come in with the, you know, it's going to be a fight. But that's something that you've seen from the inside. When you're on the inside looking out, it's like looking at Blueface and his girlfriend always arguing on TV, they toxic relationship. So when you're on the inside looking out, you don't really see them like fighting. You just be like, they tripping. This is their relationship. It's been going on like that with them for years. So usually when you notice Puff was in those kind of violent relationships with his females, this been going on ever since 2-3 years. This ain't just something that just happened. This ain't the first fight. It ain't the last fight. You know? Yeah, I noticed all. I seen a lot. I seen him walk in with scratches and bruises on his face. And you be like, who scratched you up, dog? Who's scratching you? What, you had a fight with a cat? So he put his hands on females, put his hands on producers, executives. That's just his, I guess that's what the whole name Bad Boy comes from.
Now, some people have speculated that Diddy even went as far as killing Kim Porter. There has been a lot of speculation as to the motive, and Gene Deal has always stood firm on his theory.
Kim Porter, do you know anything about her book? Because there's always been a rumor for a while now that, you know, she got killed because she was exposing a lot of stuff in her book. Is there any truth to that?
Unless they can hide unless she did her book on Google Duo and it's in the clouds, and they could get somebody to get it out of there, she ain't got no book. It's just a conspiracy. Kim, it was alleged that she did have a book and that her book was about to come out. And she was talking about all the perils, everything that she went through in the music business and with Diddy. All the men that they slept with together, because there were men that they slept with together. There were swinging times that they slept with together. But Kim book was going to express all that. And I hope she did her book on Google Docs, or she did her book somewhere that is floating in the cloud of the internet that somebody could go get it one day.
Wow, man. So she was about to expose all that in her book, them sleeping with men together.
She was going to expose everything. I heard it was tell all.
Biggie, though, did not survive very long, and many have speculated Diddy played a part in his death.
How you feel about the people that say Biggie was asking for him coming to LA so soon after Tupac got killed and him getting on the radio rapping Long Kiss Goodnight?
Man, you would get 100 people in the room, and out of the 100 people, probably 3 would say it was all right for Big to be in LA. 97% of those people would say he had no business in LA at that time. We all knew that. Why would Puff rent studio time? Come on, man, look. You gotta look at what people do, man. You know Pac just got killed. It ain't no kind of business Big was doing. Big couldn't even walk, he couldn't run. They was pushing him around in a wheelchair, brother. Why the hell would you rent studio time at LA for him to finish your album when in fact you got your own studio, Daddy's house? Let's keep it a buck. Let's stop this bullshit, man. Let's stop doing these interviews, man, about this shit. Cause people ain't getting it. Why in the hell you would put your man in a situation by sending him to Cali to work on your album? When you know, not his Nimitz, but your Nimitz was just murdered by niggas that you was running with. Why would you do that? Oh, they just wanted to do business. Business my ass, man. No homo. Because you know how some of these niggas out here be thinking, right? They hear that. Keep it real, man. Why is he out there working on Puff album when you got the Hit Factory? You got Daddy's house. You got the place where Tupac was shot at, Quad Studio. There's plenty of places Big could have been. Why the West Coast?
Gene Deal, in general, has gone on record about how Diddy is responsible for a lot of death and suffering.
Tell me about the City College stampede that took place where 9 people died. Cause I know you blame Diddy for that situation.
Well, we were scheduled to do the outside of the college, outside of the gym, Naismith, because that's what my team was good at. You understand? I had 18 guys prepared to be outside to make sure that we could get the crowd in order. You understand? Before there was any crowd. You got to set the things up before you even get the crowd like that, especially in those type of things. And back then in the days, we used to have dogs and everything. I would have a guy with 2 dogs walking the street, making sure people go down the lane, you know what I'm saying, and don't bum rush the doors. You know, people ain't bum rushing the doors when you got dogs out there. You know what I mean? So, and it's crazy that we have to do parties like that, but that was one of our security things that we did. So now, Puff called me and said, yo, Gene, we only need 8 guys. I said, 8 guys? You can't, ain't no way you're gonna do the City College with 8 guys. He said, no, Heavy D, because him and Heavy D was doing a party together. He was like, yo, Heavy D want the FOIs to do the outside. I said, the FOIs? He said, yeah. So I said, yo, fuck it, I ain't gonna do it. You know, and then my man, who's my partner, Slick, said, yo, man, we're going to go ahead and do it, man. And we just going to get a couple of bottles, just going to chill. And, you know, we just go outside. We do the downstairs. So Puff told me that, you know, he just wanted us to do inside the gym to make sure that nobody, you know, be over the celebrities like that. So he cut the security and he got the FOIs, and the FOIs left their post, and that's how the people bum rushed the door, and 9 people died by going down those corridors.
And you blame Diddy for that?
Yeah, I do. It's his fault. But it's Jessica's fault for shutting the door. Because had she not shut the door, people would have just walked in the gym. And you'd have had a gym full of people. You understand what I'm saying? Nobody would have probably died. It's her fault and it's his fault.
So you really think it's Diddy's fault? Why you believe that?
Because you don't cut security to save $1.
It resulted in at least 10 civil litigation and 8 personal injury claims, some of which included Combs as a defendant. According to the BBC, Combs testified as a witness in a case against the college in 1998 and was finally ordered to pay at least $750,000 in legal settlements claimed by victims and families. As hip-hop rose to the forefront of American mainstream culture in the mid-1990s, a civil war erupted between factions on either coast. If Bad Boy Records defined the East Coast sound, Death Row Records, co-founded by Marion Suge Knight, was the California-based cultural equivalent. Tupac Shakur, Death Row's biggest star, was shot 5 times in the head, groin, and hand while in the lobby of Quad Studios in Times Square on November 30th, 1994. Tupac and the Notorious B.I.G., aka Biggie, had a tight relationship, but the injured rapper felt Biggie and Combs were involved in the shooting. They were both inside the building that night. The shooter stole Tupac's diamond ring and gold chains, but not his diamond-encrusted Rolex. Nobody else at Quad Studios was attacked. No one from Bad Boy Records was ever linked to the shooting, and both Biggie and Combs officially denied any involvement. Tupac released several songs that directly mocked Biggie and Bad Boy Records. Witnesses reported seeing Combs' then bodyguard argue with Jai Hassan Jamal Robles, a member of Death Row's entourage, inside an Atlanta club in September 1995, just before Robles was shot and killed. 8 years later, Combs' bodyguard was killed in a firefight in Atlanta. Tupac Shakur was slain in a drive-by shooting in Las Vegas in September of 1996. 6 months later, Biggie was killed in Los Angeles in a drive-by shooting. For years, Combs was plagued by suspicions that he was complicit in Tupac's death. Combs described the claims as pure fiction and completely ridiculous. In half a year, 2 of hip-hop's brightest stars died. For Combs, the storm continued. In 1999, he appeared in a music video for Nas's song Hate Me Now as a crucified Jesus wearing a crown of thorns. Combs apparently had second thoughts and asked Interscope Records executive Steve Stout to remove the segment. He did not. Later that day, Combs allegedly went to Stout's New York office and, as Stout told the Los Angeles Times, punched me in the face, then he grabbed the phone and bashed me in the head. Combs was arrested and charged with felony assault. He eventually pled guilty to a reduced charge of harassment and was sentenced to 1 day of anger treatment. He apparently paid Stout a large out-of-court settlement. Now, he's trying to pay more people to settle cases, and it doesn't seem to be working this time. That's all for the video, folks. Thanks for watching.